Live from New York. It's the show that's been on UConn for decades.
I hate this guy.
Decades. What a time.
Duke.
Thank you.
Look.
What are we like?
What are we doing?
Pick Duke.
Why do we even have take integrity?
Are they?
Why do we have?
Well, some of us don't.
I have been on
integrity.
Duke for months. Everybody
Duke.
knows that. UConn for decades. And Michigan State for a decent amount of time with Tom Izzo.
What?
And then my fourth team, I think it was Kansas. Just to really get. What was my fourth team?
I think you had about 5 Final Fours.
It was Illinois.
This guy.
Wow. You
had
11 teams in the Final Four.
Holy cow, I'm feeling great.
Brew,
Patriots? Do you see what?
You and I, Brew, are in such bad shape. Because if Michigan wins, Danny's going to be Peacock.
Yeah.
Well,
I
got a little connection to Michigan.
I understand, but he picked them before. If UConn wins.
Hold on you. First hour, first things first today. Lakers lose 2 stars and lose to the Mavs.
Ouch.
Is the season over? Meanwhile, off-season's here. Lamar is back, and so is Coach Mangini. How good is this for the Ravens, and how good is this for our show? And finally, the debut of Mock Draft 1.0, globally recognized.
Yeah.
Chris Broussard, Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright.
Yes.
How did last year's mock draft do? Was it globally recognized?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as good as the year before. The year before, we were top 25 in the world.
Yeah.
Last year, I don't quite remember. I know we got 7 of the first 8 correct, and then we went on a bit of a cold streak. But I'm not sure. I don't remember. You know what I mean? I'm always looking forward. I'm not worried about resting on my laurels.
Can I say something? I don't think getting them accurate. It's not a horse race that you're supposed to pick, the placement. It's what's the right pick. I think your picks may have been
More
right.
No. It's predictive. It's not instructive on what they should do. It's predictive on what they will do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We start in Dallas, where we saw 2 stars. LeBron scored 30. Cooper Flagg scored 45. We also didn't see 2 stars, if you count Austin Reaves as a star. Luka's out. He's headed to Europe to rehab his hamstring. Can't trust these.
Can't trust the Lakers doctors.
Domestic doctors, no.
Treat a runny nose evidently.
Austin's going to miss the rest of the regular season.
Week for the Lakers doctors.
With an oblique, and that oblique, of course, had to be tested twice because I guess they took an MRI on the wrong one.
You saw the Austin
MRI on the wrong one.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that happens.
Well, I don't know, but if you've ever had surgery, they come in the room like I had my right shoulder operated on. They came in the room with a magic marker and wrote on my left shoulder, wrong shoulder.
That's important.
Yeah. So
they'll also leave a pair of scissors in you every now and then.
This is a
that happens.
$1 billion organization.
Yeah, plus 10. Just sold for 10. Yeah, not great.
It's not great. MRIs. MRIs are like a hassle.
Yeah, not great.
It's not just doing a little.
Here's LeBron processing the news.
I took my nap after practice and I woke up with that news. It was like another shot to the. That was like, we knew we it was a shot to the heart, obviously, and to the chest and to the mainframe with Luka, understanding that. But we kind of got that news kind of, we got that news kind of quick, and. AR, was kind of dealing with the pain. We seen, see whatever the case may be. And we knew he was going to get an MRI, but I woke up from my nap yesterday and then saw that news. I was like,
it's been a lot of that. Yeah. Is the Lakers season over?
Listen, it's certainly on life support, and I'll explain what would have to happen for it not to be over. But before I do that, Brew.
You were reaching last
week. I'm just going to, I'll lay it out in a second.
There's actually a path?
A path to them getting out of round 1? Yeah, I do think there's a path. But before I do any of that, Brew, I, on my behalf, and maybe your behalf as well, need to apologize to the audience.
For what?
The display by Kevin Wildes and our dear friend Danny Parkins in today's walk-in video was not really the standards we try to hold ourselves to, with them peacocking about, I never believed in the Lakers.
I did not peacock at all.
I knew the Lakers weren't a threat. America, the Lakers have been felled by something that would fell 30 of 30 teams, which is their best player and either second or third best player being out. Whether you're the Thunder, the Spurs, or the Wizards, that would wreck your season.
Well, so I don't know if that's true.
You don't?
Well, the Celtics' best player was out, and they're currently second in the East.
So hold on.
The Thunder, second best player, was out, and they're first.
So right, correct. So I'll say it again very quickly because I do not think there's a team in the league that could lose heading into the playoffs, their best player, unequivocally, and then also their second or third best player and be okay. If you disagree and think these injuries reveal a massive flaw with the Lakers, then so be it. It's not how I feel. I think that if you are using this as evidence, the Lakers were make-believe from the beginning, then you just wanted the Lakers to be make-believe from the beginning. That's my take. I also think Luka going to Europe to try to fast-track this makes me believe he believes he might be able to be back in 3 weeks. And 3 weeks would be game 3 of round 1. And if Luka is back by game 3 of round 1, I think the Lakers could win round 1. I do. And so now, do I think they can win the title? No. Do I think Austin's injury? You saw it coming, evidently. I did not, because he finished the game. Like the Austin's
just
injury,
looked like a sore back.
Right?
I think they called it a back.
Yeah, and then it's an oblique. But the playoffs start April 18th and 19th. Game 3 is that following weekend for most series, so that'd be April 25th or 26th. If Luka's back by then, I think the Lakers are very viable in round 1. But yeah, losing your best and third best player days before the playoffs typically wrecks team seasons, and I think that's what happened here.
They're done. They're done. I said last week they were done before Austin Reaves was hurt. Now with him hurt, they are definitely done. And LeBron James yesterday was phenomenal. That might be his best game of the year. I mean, he was tremendous. And they still
lost to the Mavs.
Lost to a team that is 5-18 since the All-Star break, and last week got destroyed by a Minnesota team without Anthony Edwards and another team without its best player. I forgot who it is now, but it was ugly. All right, and so they're just not. They're gonna go out in the first round. I mean, if Luka's back miraculously, maybe, but even if he comes back, what kind of shape's he gonna be in?
Correct.
I was saying last week with LeBron and Luka, or LeBron and Austin Reaves, I think they could have beaten Houston, not Denver. Minnesota's interesting. Ant's not really back yet. Let's see what happens with him. But if he comes back at full speed, they won't beat Minnesota either. And I don't think at this team right here, I mean, there was a Kobe B out there. But it was Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a bad roster around LeBron right now out there. I mean, they got some decent players, but it's just not enough.
The four most important players on the Lakers this year have been Luka, LeBron, Austin Reaves, and Marcus Smart. And 3 of them right now are injured. But
you're talking about it like if they were healthy, we just saw it against OKC. Now, I know Marcus Smart was missing, but I don't think he's worth 40 points. They were going to likely get beat anyway.
No, but hold on. I guess
OKC or San Antonio,
I don't know.
or
Is the
Denver,
question we're asking here?
Is the Lakers season over? That's what we're asking.
No. I understand, but what I'm saying is, does that mean are the Lakers dead as winning the title, or does that mean are the Lakers basically de facto eliminated from the playoffs?
I think the latter.
Right. And so if the question is, can the Lakers win the title?
Latter?
The answer is no. If the question is, could we still see the Lakers in round 2? My answer is that depends on Luka coming back.
Well, of course, but I don't think he's coming back, and I think they're done. I think they're going out. I think Houston would beat them now.
So Houston, listen.
And they might fall. Look, they might meet OKC, San Antonio, or Denver.
No.
In the first. No, they could fall out of third.
What? They can't fall past 5th, bro.
Okay, so they meet Houston or Denver.
They would play.
They could meet Denver.
Right, and I think they would lose to Denver without Luka.
Absolutely.
Obviously. I think they would lose to Houston if they go a full series without Luka. Mm-hmm. But Luka, the fact
Luka
that
and Reaves.
And I think at this point Reaves is oddly longer term than Luka.
So it's 4 to 6.
I agree.
Yeah, and so I think that if they play Houston in round 1, and if 3 weeks from today Luka is back, I think they can win in round 1.
So I know this is when we start to get funky when it was grade 2. We were hoping for grade 1.
Yes.
It's grade 2, but all right, grade 2 with the
weeks,
European curve, we think turns it into a.
No, I'm just saying 3 weeks from the date of the injury would put him back the day of probably game 2 of the first round. So I'm saying if he's back by game 3.
Crazy optimistic.
I think they also, and again, if he can play, you play him. But they should not put him out there and he could rush him back. They should not rush him back. Luka Doncic is their future. They should not rush him back.
I agree with all of that. And maybe I set the show off on the wrong tone to start with. I didn't mean to. I just take issue with the idea that if Luka and Reaves don't come back and the Lakers get just dusted, a gentleman's sweeper swept in round 1, that is proof that, the run they were on was make-believe.
Well, it was make-believe as far as winning the championship. But it wasn't make-believe as far as being a legitimately good team.
But so I guess, I never thought the Lakers had first, second, or third best chance to win the title. I never had them ahead of OKC, San Antonio, or Boston. But I guess I don't think that is... We will know whether or not they had a puncher shot or not if Luka and AR never come back. And
we just saw him against OKC. It was very ugly.
And 1 year ago, almost to the day that we saw OKC paste them, we saw them paste OKC, and that was not clearly indicative.
You think they had a shot to beat OKC?
I don't know that who even knows if they would have had to play OKC? We don't know how to play.
Asking that question.
I would not. I think OKC's the best team. I think the only team that's going to beat OKC in the series is Boston. But I also think the way, and we're about to talk about Joker, that Denver could, what I talked about last week, that Denver could beat them. And so there was probably in some corners too much, there's always too much Lakers hype, Lakers are the extremes, right? Mm-hmm. And it struck my radar that a lot of folks, not just Danny and KW, who I was joking about or poking at, were using this as, see, this is why I didn't believe in them. And that to me is unfair.
I wonder if it was just that we all got drunk off of the Lakers' success when things were going well, when some of your earlier concerns about Pelinka in the roster as it was constructed shows that they didn't have enough depth and they could barely sort of stay afloat without Marcus Smart. And then once the third guy goes down, then the whole house of cards goes down.
I felt like we were getting drunk off the fact that Luka averaged 40 for a month. And that we have seen multiple times Luka Doncic carry flawed, imperfect rosters on deep playoff runs. Twice. We've seen that. And so that's that. And so to me,
I agree with that.
When that guy is then out for a month, I think the belief was not that all of a sudden, the Luke Kennard and LeBron's turning back the clock and Luke Kennard's going to be this. It was Luka was playing at such a high level and LeBron had found his role with Luka and AR. Mm-hmm. Now Luka and AR are gone. I just think we're not seeing what they could have been or what they would have been.
They could have been a very good team. Maybe could have got to the conference finals.
Yes.
They couldn't have won the championship.
I think that's probably true. But isn't that how you feel about Detroit? They got
demolished in a huge game. And I get it. It's one regular season game. They can't match up with an OKC. And I mentioned San Antonio and Detroit too. Like teams that can throw waves of defenders, athletic, young, can shoot at them, they don't match up well with. The playoffs are about matchups. That's why a Denver might be able to beat an OKC
100%.
Or a San Antonio because of matchups, and the Lakers matched up pretty well against Denver. So it's just matchups, and they would have had to have the path. Just all these teams lose that they don't have to play.
I agree with that.
But you're talking like people. You're kind of chastising people for thinking. People reacted to their loss to OKC. I think that's what they're overreacting to. Like, oh my gosh, we thought the Lakers were on that level, and they're not.
Thunder coming to LA for their next game, so That might get ugly. Head to Denver, where Joker got over on the Spurs. 48-13, 3 blocks, 0 turnovers in an overtime win literally over Wemby. Denver has won 8 in a row. Here's Wemby on the battle with Joker.
One of the most fun games. I wish we could have closed it up. And my conclusion of this game is, no matter is good for us. Anything that happened tonight is good for us. It's a real test against a team that's actually playing for something right now.
Did you enjoy kind of the back and forth that you and Jokic seem to have down the stretch? Both of you guys making kind of big play after big play.
Yeah, for sure. It was really enjoyable, really challenging. Looking forward to that again.
Sneaky historic game from Joker here. 40-13 assists, 0 turnovers, games in NBA history. Dame had 1, Joker has 2, and that's it.
Yeah.
What did he prove on Saturday?
He's still the best player in the league, and this is why offense does matter more than defense. Because Brew has said, and I take him at his word, that Wemby is the best defensive player of his lifetime. That you've seen. You're leaving a carve out
during the last years of Bill Russell.
Right, but you're leaving a carve out for Bill Russell. But the greatest defensive player whose games have regularly been televised is this guy. And Joker did what he has done consistently to him, put him in the torture chamber. So Joker has played Wemby 3 times in the last 2 years. So throw out Wemby's rookie year. 42, 12, and 11 with 1 turnover a game.
That's pretty good.
Against arguably the greatest defensive player ever. Yeah. And so that shot that he hit in overtime was a great example as to why great offense beats great defense.
And this is
goes against your mind.
As far as individual players in the NBA.
Right.
And that's what it's always been. This is a guy with an 8-foot wingspan. You could argue there has never been a harder guy in the history of the league to get that shot off over. And Joker won the game with it. And so I fall into this sometimes because Joker loves his horses and doesn't seem to love America that much. People confuse that with isn't competitive or doesn't care. The fact that Joker,
he's competitive.
And I also think he typically doesn't want to score 40.
Yeah.
And has the last 3 times Wemby's been on the court, like, all right, I'm gonna give you the full package, buddy. And so that to me, Brew, is what Joker proved. I already thought he was the best player in the world. I know that you have moved to Wemby.
Right.
I think Joker reasserted himself.
And this is not to cover for Wemby because he made some big
Wemby
mistakes,
was awesome.
which
Look
we're
at
going to show.
Wemby's
Right.
stat line.
Wemby was great
was
too.
Unbelievable.
But to show how good Jokic is, he's consistently done this to Anthony Davis too.
Yeah,
we've
true.
seen the playoffs.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we're seeing a Jokic and Luka to a degree like this, but because people, younger people look at a Larry Bird like, there's no way he could do that in today's NBA. He's a 7-foot Larry Bird. Like, the dude is just awesome. And like you said, I want to see 7 of these. Him and Wemby, that was a phenomenal game.
Godzilla Mothra. I told you guys a month ago.
Never really.
Did we like the graphic, guys, or not?
My biggest takeaway, Nick, as I'm watching this game, I think you can argue Wemby was getting the best of him for most of the game. It was obviously both were playing great, but Jokic took over in the overtime. But our biggest concern about the Spurs has been the inexperience. And I thought this game, like I'm watching this, and I'm like, I feel like you see the experience of the Nuggets and Jokic versus the inexperience, the youth, the naivete, whatever it is, of the Spurs. Now, Wemby said this was great for us.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe, I hope he's right. Maybe they should learn something from this game. Will it be enough? That's the question. But I was watching this thinking, you can see how a Denver and OKC could beat the Spurs just because, this is the history of the NBA. You see teams go through this.
Can I ask 2 other questions that came up for me in this game? First one was, I do wonder if the tax of the 29 minutes per game for Wemby, because he
played 40.
And he seemed more out of gas than Joker in overtime. Now, that was... So
he had 12 in the fourth quarter.
Right, but it felt like in overtime he had... And so that I do wonder how much that impacts him. But I also do want to ask Brew this very direct question.
Get on.
Do you think Victor Wembanyama right now, this moment, April 8th, 2026, it's April 6th, sorry, is the best player in the NBA?
What are these, Wild?
Well, they're your fingers, but you also
toes.
claim they're your toes.
I'm 10 toes down on Wemby being the best player in the world still.
Why is he better than Joker?
Notice in this game, who was guarding Wemby?
Aaron Gordon.
Who was guarding Joker?
Nobody.
No, Wemby.
Well, not well.
No, he gave him 40.
Sure.
But that happens. No, I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon, who's the best defender I've ever seen, if not Wemby, got dunked on by a 6-foot Kevin Johnson. It happens.
That is
when
true.
you're playing great players, Michael Jordan has gotten schooled, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. You get Tim Duncan has gotten schooled.
Yeah, that's all true.
Jokic was great.
Yeah.
But Wemby wants to guard the best player. Wemby is equipped to guard the best player. Jokic, well, he might want to, he ain't even equipped.
Yeah, but
and when I look at Michael Jordan, when I look at Kobe Bryant, when I look at LeBron James, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they would guard the best player. When it got down to the clutch, they're guarding the best player. He guarded Jokic the whole game. Jokic hardly ever guarded him. It had to be a switch or something. That's the difference.
Hold on, but...
And he gave him 34, out-rebounded him by 10, blocked his shot twice, had 5 blocks overall, and the gap in the offense wasn't that big. The gap in the defense was
yesterday
huge.
Wasn't that big?
No, it was big because at least I took the challenge of guarding you.
At least I took the test.
You were sitting over there letting you go get him.
No,
Aaron, you go get him.
136.
But Brew.
136.
The Nuggets scored.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying I want the challenge to take up the challenge.
Move on, just real quick. But you have thought you don't think guarding the other team's best players is a prerequisite to be the best player in the league, because you thought Jokic had been the...
Yeah, not a prerequisite,
but a bonus.
But when the offense is 6 points difference, Wemby had 14 in the fourth quarter in overtime. How many Jokic have? About 14?
But in general, you think the gap between Joker's offense and Wemby's offense is more than 6 points difference, right? Like total offense?
I think Wemby's a much better offensive player than you do. Now, I think Jokic is better offensively. But I think I don't think that passing. But my point is the gap between Jokic's offense and Wemby's offense is not nearly as large as a gap between Wemby's defense and Jokic's defense.
Except here would be the pushback on that. That is true over the totality of a season. However, Wemby's defense clearly, as we saw this weekend, can be minimized by an offensive player that great. And as we saw this weekend, nothing can minimize his offense. Wemby's defensive impact, as great as he is.
7 games. That was one great game.
I think we'll see. But
we'll see. If we see him in 7, let's see him in 7 games.
No doubt. And I might think the Spurs win that series. I don't know. But the point that I'm making is, and this is why I disagreed with Wemby's MVP, defense 50%, all of that is.
I would disagree that it's 50%. It's more than people give it credit for.
When a great offensive player, all-time great offensive player, has it going, there is no stopping him. And there is no defensive equivalent to that. It's not like, man, that game Kawhi had it going defensively and had 14 steals in the first half.
But here's what you're missing. It's not just that one guy. You can still be affecting the rest of the players defensively.
But that's where the 136 comes in.
I mean, it's one game. Jokic was great. He got the best of Wemby. But I'm just saying that Wemby gave Aaron Gordon and Jokic some stuff too, and then he took the challenge of guarding the best offensive player. Jokic didn't take. He's not equipped to take it. But that's my point.
Lamar Jackson is back. Coach Mangini is back. That's next on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM. UFL plays of week 2. We'll start with the DC Defenders up 24-7 against the Columbus Aviators. So Quandre White with the hurdle and the touchdown. Hurdle/sidestep, not enough. Defenders get their first win of the season, 44-26. Moving on to the Orlando Storm. They're up 12-9 against the Louisville Kings. Plummer on the move.
Nice.
Finds Elijah Badger. He takes it to the house. Ooh.
Is that Jake Plummer's kid?
You know what?
No relation.
I think it's just Jack Plummer.
I know. I understand, but my guess.
Orlando Storm go on to win 19-9. They're undefeated. Finally, Gamblers down 1 to the Stallions. 2 seconds left, down 2019. John Hoyland walk-off 50-yard field
Can I
goal.
add something to that?
Gamblers win it. Yeah.
You know, they converted that 4th and 16 onside kick to get in that spot.
Oh, wow.
And then bang.
They got some good kickers in the UFL.
Yeah,
big on that. Week 2 wraps up with the St. Louis Battlehawks against the Dallas Renegades tomorrow at 8 Eastern right here on FS1. We're going to go to the NFL right now. Day 1 of the offseason program for the Ravens. Lamar is there. Coach Mangini is here. Welcome back, Coach. Brew, you said you wanted to see Lamar, and there he is doing some pull-ups. Do you like this?
Do I like it?
Here we go.
I got 2 words to say, Coach. The box!
No.
Wow!
No, this cheapens
box.
This cheapens the box. You know what? I hope it's not coming.
The box is not coming.
Wow.
The box?
The box
Wow.
is the box.
I am so excited, Coach, about Lamar being there for off-season workouts.
What?
That I had to bring out something. I did not get a chance last year to bring
He's
these
just
out.
been itching to wear these.
These were supposed to come out. I got some special championship Jordans for my Ravens.
Yeah, my buddy
Lamar
Josh
as
House
the
made
MVP.
these.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to bring them out last year because it was a horrible season.
Show the other side.
You got the soda pop. We got the chips.
Yeah.
We got Lamar here, the MVP. We got King Henry.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. I'm Coach. I'm going to be wearing these this year.
Where's the John Harbaugh section of that?
I got to get Jesse Minter put on here
that'd
somewhere.
be good.
But no, I love this because it shows leadership. It shows everybody you're bought into the new regime. And, I mean, I don't think they're practicing today, but you need to learn. You know, there's a new system he actually has to learn, too. So that's important. I think I wouldn't have written him off if he wouldn't have been here. But I think this is great, and I think he needs to be there to learn the new system.
Before Coach makes his triumphant return to the show, can I just ask you one follow-up question? So what if he bounces after today?
He showed that he's in step with the new leadership.
Okay.
I came to say hi to Jesse and get the playbook. And
Yeah, you don't want to be too
I'm going
available.
home to study it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I'm
right.
going home to study it. So, yeah, I'm good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't like it.
You don't like
You
him
don't
being
like
there?
him being there?
I just think, okay, what was wrong with the last X amount of years? Why suddenly are we now at OTAs? Were they not important last year? Were they not important the year before?
Oh, Coach, this is.
Really?
Well, what do you want to do?
Were you, did you not like John Harbaugh? Like, what was the reason you had? Why is this suddenly important now when it hasn't been important
But it
any
would
other
be
year?
more important if there's a new coach.
Right.
I think you can.
Or if you were trying to win the Super Bowl, might be important then too.
So hold on.
Maybe not.
So wait.
Or maybe if you were the MVP, maybe if your team was coming off a bad season, maybe like this is. I understand the transition, and as a new head coach, I would want my quarterback to be there. But as an old head coach, or a head coach trying to win a Super Bowl, or a team trying to win a Super Bowl, or if I was one of the highest paid players in the league, I think all those things are important. Why now?
Maybe Coach's mom or someone sat him down and said just that. Lamar, you need to start going. Patrick Mahomes goes, he's got a few Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot.
Matt Stafford went, he got a Super Bowl.
Well, Matt Stafford's hanging out in the immortal chamber. To be fair.
I mean, like, you know, maybe somebody got through to it.
So I think
I hear what you're saying.
I think Coach, I feel like you are being retroactively defending Harbaugh almost. Like that your frustration with him being there now is less about him being there now and more the fact that he wasn't there consistently previously, which I think is legit. My question, though, is the one that I, somewhat jokingly said to Brew, which is I think this is very positive that he's there. I think it would have been hugely problematic if he no-showed it, because it is a new coach and it is a new system, and he is hoping to get a new contract, and this is the first time you can ever say he's coming off a bad year, because he's never had a bad year. For all those reasons, I thought he had to be there. It's also a reason, and people can say I'm being unfair, he has to stay. I will give whatever credit he's getting today, to me, gets removed almost entirely if he bounces. I think that Lamar Jackson needs to be at all of the voluntary stuff this offseason. I think that is totally fair for your franchise quarterback with a new head coach that, potentially one of the reasons you got the new head coach is because the franchise quarterback and the previous head coach had a falling out. He now needs to be in lockstep with Jesse Minter, which I feel like is perfect attendance in the offseason. I don't think that is, if he misses one because of a previous, so be it. He makes 8 out of 9. But last year he went to 1 of 9. It can't be, in my opinion, this means almost nothing if that happens again. That's where I would say.
Yeah, if you go to 1 of 9, you're not doing anything. You're barely punching your card. It doesn't mean anything. So yeah, if he's going to go there and he's going to be there and work hard to absorb the new offensive playbook and to really try to push the new program as forward as he possibly can, I'm all for that. And I wasn't saying that I don't like a guy being in the offseason program. I just feel like it's a little bit problematic when you haven't been there in the past, when the team was in a position that they were in to potentially compete for the Super Bowl. I mean, they were S-Bob for you, and now, now that they've transitioned coaching staffs, you're suddenly all in.
Good leadership, maybe.
Is it, though?
The new leadership.
You think that?
Oh, you mean good leadership from Jesse Minter?
Yeah, I think it's a little
his
bit of an
offensive
indictment on
coordinator
Harbaugh.
got a head coaching job. His head coach got a head coaching job. I mean, they must have been doing something right.
Okay. Last week, Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus dropped an article that outlined a dysfunctional Eagles offense, which is led, of course, by Jalen Hurts. Now the ripple effects reports that the article may have been a Hail Mary attempt by the organization to get through to Jalen. Here's Jeff McLean on the Uncovering the Birds pod. Take a listen.
The only way to get to him is through the media or social media or through those of us who report on the team. And that's what's happening now. And that's why, we're hearing this probably now more than ever. And he's going into this contract year that is only full guaranteed. It's like if he's not going to listen, this is the way to get him to listen. He will listen if there's an ESPN story, 5,000-word story. He will listen if the Inquirer has this, that, or the other thing about him.
Your reaction?
Well, and listen, he went on to say that he thought A.J. Brown feels like he's more likely to listen to tweets and Instagram posts than direct conversations with him.
Jalen is.
That
more likely to
that Jalen is more likely, that A.J. Brown feels Jalen is more likely to listen to A.J.'s social media posts than direct conversations. And he also went on to say that he revealed a lot about Jalen Hurts' perception in that locker room. That his teammates call him Little Jordan because he fancies himself a Michael Jordan leader, Jordan guy, but the Michael Jordan leadership style. And McLean more than implied that there is real friction between some of the other high-performing, high-profile players about credit pie and about who deserves credit for the Eagles winning that Super Bowl and who carries themselves like they get the credit for the Eagles winning that Super Bowl. Again, I'm not in the locker room. I'm not reporting that.
That Jalen is taking a large slice. That was the. I don't know if that's report.
What Jeff McLean was saying is that in that locker room, there is clearly the way some folks in the media feel that Jalen Hurts was more passenger than bus driver. Some other people agree, and Jalen Hurts does not carry himself that way. And which again, I'm just, for people that didn't listen to the 45-minute podcast or read the full article, and that there is widespread belief in the organization that if you want to get Jalen Hurts to change, having a one-on-one conversation with him is not the way. Having a damaging PR, cycle is the way. And that belief, whether it's true or not, is problematic. You know what I mean? Whether it's true or not, Coach, that he's more likely to change because of an ESPN story than direct conversation is almost secondary to the fact that he's either coworkers or bosses feel that way about him. Mm-hmm. That is telling and
even some teammates.
That's what I meant when I said coworkers. Yeah. That's teammates and everything. That to me is really noteworthy.
I can't wait to read the 10,000-word article about when he gets cut, because this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Maybe won't get cut, but I can't imagine that you're going to sign a guy to a new contract if the only way you can motivate him is not through direct conversation with the coaching staff or the GM or the owner or the players that he plays with. You have to motivate him through an article on ESPN or tweets or a podcast. I mean, that I can't imagine the organization will move forward with him after this year if this is really the case. How could you? How is that any way of legitimate communication between your star player, your face of the franchise, and the rest of the organization, where you need to bring in a third party to do it?
Right. Well, they think it might get through, though, right?
Yeah, they said they think this could work.
Because what I get, Coach, why Jalen Hurts may look at every new offensive coordinator that comes in and be like, I've had success doing it my way, and kind of get pushed back. Because I don't know you. You don't have the track record that I have.
Correct.
We've done it this way, and it's been successful. And so this is how I want to stay. But look, he knows this is last year of guaranteed money. He knows what they did to Carson Wentz. Now he apparently knows that there's some in the locker room, some sentiment where more people may agree with A.J. Brown and stuff like that. Like, I think, and he knows that we have not been good offensively. We weren't good last year offensively. So I think he should be more open to making change. And Sean Manion's going to want to make change. He's going to want to put him under center.
But doesn't that make it even more unbelievable if you're saying he knows all those things are true, but yet the only way they feel like that will actually resonate with them is if someone writes a negative article about him? Like that to me seems amazing and to some degree unbelievable.
To the unbelievable point, sometimes in the media, if another outlet breaks a big story, and this is a great story, sometimes other media members on that beat will kind of poo-poo the story and say, they just leaking it to them because they're national and they want to get through. I don't know if that's what's happening here, but I guess that's possible. I mean, I think maybe Jalen clearly has commercials and a national platform and all that, and maybe cares about his image and stuff like that. So maybe that's why they think.
Are you enraged by this?
I'm not enraged by it. Cooper Flagg put up 45 against the Lakers, a game after he scored 51. The performances have vaulted him ahead of his former Duke teammate, Con Knuppel, who was with the red-hot Charlotte Hornets, Here's Cooper Flagg.
A combined nearly 100 points in the last two games, but tonight a win to go with it, which I know is what you care about the most.
Didn't say any more, man.
Odds to win Rookie of the Year. Just the Lakers win, flipped it. Who's got your vote, bro?
Well, look, up until now, I have felt like Con Knuppel would be my vote, but I have switched it.
You have too.
To Cooper Flagg. Because here's a few things. Look at this graphic, and Cooper's got him beat in everything. And Cooper leads his team in points, in steals, and he's second in assists. Now, Con is playing tremendously, but he's the third leading scorer on his team. They're going to make either the play-in. They're going to be in the play-in. And then I thought about, with Rookie of the Year, winning doesn't matter as much as, MVP.
That's exactly how
you know, right? And this is almost exactly like 2004 when LeBron won Rookie of the Year over Melo, and Melo had more rebounds a game. The points were about the same, and Melo had led. They both won 17 games the year before they got there. Melo leads Denver to the playoffs in the West. LeBron didn't make the playoffs, but LeBron won the MVP because he viewed as a better player. And that's why right now, and Nick, I mean, this guy has now done some things. He's going to join Michael Jordan, Luka Doncic, and Larry Bird is the only rookies to average 20.6 rebounds, 4 assists a game. And then now he's second only to Wilt Chamberlain for rookie points in 2 straight games. I mean, so yeah, I'm going to go with him. And he's going to be a superstar.
Okay. But does 2 points, when he has to do most of the scoring, he's the number one option, you don't give a winning basketball curve, I can't believe I'm saying this, to the Hornets.
So I want to put it back to you because I was thinking about this. Of all the awards the NBA gives out, the one I care least about team success is Rookie of the Year.
Sure.
And so in basically anything else, certain Clutch Player of the Year, obviously, but maybe even Most Improved, I'd say that certainly All NBA MVP. If one team's won,
improved, you're like, is it leading the win?
Right. If one team's won 20 more games than the other, I'm going to go there. Rookie of the Year. Not only do I not care about team success, there is a part where I curve it the other way, which is like, man, every night, if you play the Mavs, you're like, just slow down the 19-year-old.
Right.
And they got,
he's got 20. He's scoring 20. It's not like he's putting up 35 every night.
But what has moved him ahead was the fact that he's put up 50 and 45.
The Lakers too.
Go ahead, buddy.
So you obviously
I'm rooting
for Cooper Flagg.
No,
but
but here's the
guy as well.
But the thing
I've had a Duke for months.
The thing that I was going to put to you was, I don't care about this at all, but your MVP argument for Wemby, the story of the season. In no world, 10 years from now, when people are like, what was the rookie story of 2026? Are people going to say Con Knipple? In no world. That it will. The story is the Mavs lucked into the number 1 pick, and the guy ended up being exactly what people hoped he could be.
That's probably true.
I think the only way it changed is if the Hornets go on to become a great team and Con is a star. I think he'll be a star.
Oh, you know who's one of the best pure shooters of all time?
It's still,
it could. Looking back, it could be Con.
It would take Cooper's career taking a left turn.
You don't think even if Cooper's great, but Con wins? Now I'm not looking at this Charlotte team as a championship team.
No, I mean I think that if neither of their careers go sideways, Cooper has superstar written all over him, and Con has awesome player written all over him. Like Con's ceiling, absolute best case scenario ceiling, and this is a great one, is Klay Thompson's career, right? That's right. Which would be that's
Mullen, Klay
right. Just a great Hall of Fame level career. Cooper's ceiling is wins the MVP of the league a couple times.
Right.
Yeah. And so that. So again, I don't know how much that should factor into it, but I just don't care about winning. When it comes to, on Friday when you guys asked me, I think I flippantly said Con Knipple. I thought about it more. I'm with Brew. I agree with Cooper.
Hornets are 8-2 in the last 10.
KW wins no matter what.
I know.
It's either a UConn guy or a Maine guy.
And they're both Duke.
Yeah.
Not UConn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maine is New England.
Live from New York. Show it's all in on UConn. Have a great take on Danny Hurley.
The show is not all in on UConn.
Why not?
Because the show isn't.
Nobody on the show picked UConn.
Literally nobody on the show, including you.
Once Duke was out, I did.
Kind of. But then you were like, ooh, Illinois is scary.
Illinois is scary.
You would,
Holy cow.
David, this
Illinois
guy
is
is such a
Are they still scary?
Illinois?
I think not.
Illinois is scary too.
This guy is.
There's a lid on the basket.
KW, I love you, but you gotta just stick to your guns, man.
You know what I stick to my guns on?
What?
What I believe in. Okay?
Exactly.
Not just like, oh, I'm from Connecticut. I have to pick UConn. But I was on Duke for months and
That's
everybody knows
literally.
it.
That's literally what you're doing now. And now that's literally what you're doing.
Second hour, first things first. Today is Danny Hurley on the doorstep of destiny. Wow.
Whoa. Oh, my.
Meanwhile, can LeBron carry the Lakers? Most assists in a game all season.
Hey, LeBron, that was.
Not
he
LeBron,
was
the
great.
Lakers team.
Oh, he had some great
Against
dimes.
the
So.
That game against the Mavs had the most
He
assists.
looked like he liked being back in that old.
You think?
Yeah.
We are 17 days away from the NFL draft. Nick is one of the world's most accurate draft predictors
you,
globally.
KW. That is correct.
There was some global thing,
Yes.
and he was top 25.
Yeah, that is correct.
That was 2 years ago. Though.
2 years ago.
But I think
it
last
carries
year, I think I
over.
did well. Last year, I was certainly top 100, but I think maybe
top
better.
100?
No, I think it was better than that. I just don't want to. I don't like to overstate things. I don't know exactly where I was. I did
How
quite
deep
well.
does the list go?
It's thousands.
They're grading thousands?
It's
Or
every
an
mock draft
algorithm?
that's done.
Really?
You better have been top
Buddy,
probably 50.
you said it right in the beginning. I'm one of the best in the
just
world.
Globally, one of the best in the world,
Thank
okay?
you. I appreciate it.
We're going 1 through 32
Yeah.
with some conversations sprinkled in between. You know, get some Coach Mangini.
You want to tell them how the cameras work too?
Got a jib right here. Well, because when we come out of it and then we're back chatting and then we go back to
And
it.
also, here's what you didn't include, what you need to. It's 1.0. It ends draft day with 4.0. 4.0 is the official one. So this is, some of these picks will remain the same, some will change. We're culling information, we're checking latest reports, we're measuring arm length and hand size to the last
And it's
final moment.
predictive.
It's
not
predictive, not
prescriptive.
correct. It's what I think they will do. Well done, Brew.
Wow.
Let's go to it.
Let him-
The number one pick, shocker, Fernando Mendoza. No shocker at all. We already all know where he's going. You can see a lot of Ohio State kids in the top 10. Number 2 pick, Arvell Reese, linebacker, Ohio State. Maybe the best defensive player in the draft. I feel like Aaron Glenn looks at him and says, is there a little Micah Parsons there? A guy who played some linebacker and could play some DN, maybe a little both. Sonny Styles, you guys like spider graphs of athleticism? His is 99th percentile everywhere. Maybe the sickest athlete in the draft. Now, the Cardinals, once upon a time, picked a linebacker in the top 10, similar athletic traits. The kid Simmons out of Clemson. That didn't work out, but it's a new regime. I think Sonny Styles potentially goes there. The pick everybody seems to all of a sudden believe is happening. I think it's one of the reasons the Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker was because everyone believes Jeremiah Love ain't going to be there at 9 because he ain't going to be there at 5. He's going to go to Tennessee. Wow. Now, is it smart to draft a running back that high before your offensive line has been fully built? Maybe ask the Raiders that last year. I liked it last year for the Raiders. It didn't work out. Jeremiah Love to the Titans is a pick a lot of people see coming. Carnell Tate to Ohio State.
To the Giants.
I'm sorry, from Ohio State, correct. There's just so much Ohio State guys here. To the Giants. Malik Neighbors coming off the injury. Even with Neighbors, doesn't have, to me, a surefire number 2. They have a real investment in Jackson Dart, at least emotional investment, if not financial investment, and maybe feel like the defense, that front 7 defensively, they've poured so many resources into already. That's the spot there. Number 6 to the Browns, a team that on offense needs a bit of everything. Maybe they go out and get the number 1 tackle in the draft. Maunoga, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name, young man, out of Miami, the star right tackle you saw throughout the national championship game run. Caleb Downs, then to Washington. He was, according to a lot of people, the best player in college football going into the year. The only reason he would be available at 7 and might be available outside of the top 10 is the positional lack of, it's not a marquee spot, but you do wonder, could he be a Kyle Hamilton type where you can line him up a bunch of places at that type of impact? Washington needs a ton of help defensively. Caleb Downs makes sense there. I think the best pure pass rusher in the draft, David Bailey. Now, I don't know that he is a 3-down player, and I don't know that he'd be great against the run, but he is a monster against the pass. David Bailey to the Saints. If it were to fall like this, I believe the Chiefs would run to the podium to draft Reuben Bain. They have not had a blue chip edge rusher. You could argue Mahomes' whole career, certainly since Frank Clark's first couple years there, but even Frank was more of a playoff performer than a regular season performer. And then a move that I would not support, which is why I think the Bengals might do it, because most of the things they do I don't support. Hey, you know what would be fun? More offense. The number one tight end, a guy who has, in a good way, gotten some Kyle Pitts comps, who obviously went in the top 5 of his draft. Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. The Bengals feel like, listen, defense is going to stink anyway. What if we just have the best offense in the entire league?
Okay.
That is top 10 of Mock Draft 1.0.
Good start, globally recognized. We're going to check it back in with pick number 5. Carnell Tate to the Giants. Will be a potent offensive addition for Harbaugh and new OC Matt Nagy. Coach, do you like the Giants taking a wide receiver at 5?
I don't mind it. I'm really interested to see what direction they do go, because he's never truly run a draft, and now he's in Baltimore. That's been such a strong personnel-driven organization since really the organization started. So I'm sure he had plenty of input.
Who's the GM in New York with the Giants? What's his name? The guy from Hard Knocks, the GM.
Yeah,
Joe Shane. You don't think Joe Shane's in charge?
Well, that's my point.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
So for him to have an opportunity now to make that decision, will he go? And the other unique thing about him is he was never an offensive or defensive coach. He was a special teams coach, so it's not like he's leaning one side or the other. I'm fine with the decision to try to go complement Malik Neighbors and make that offense more explosive than it was last year. And then the same thing with Neighbors, is as good as he has been and could be, he gets dinged up quite a bit. So if you can add an impact player and hopefully help the young quarterback and the rest of the young offense, I'd be fine with that.
I want Jeremiah Love. Now, I agree with you. I think I've been saying for a while Tennessee will take him. But if he's there, Coach, I'm taking him. Look, Harbaugh's always had a great run game. Scatterboo is just, how long is he going to last?
Coming off an injury,
right. He's kind of maybe more of a specialist. I think Jeremiah Love would take some pressure off of Jackson Dart, and you do have Neighbors there. So if they can't get Love, then I do like this, because again, it helps out your quarterback. But I would prefer to get Love in a running back.
I apologize for jumping in on you, Coach. The point I was trying to get to was, I just couldn't remember his name, was remember at the last minute, it was like, wait, Harbaugh hasn't signed his contract. And it was about who has final decision.
Yep.
And so, and then Joe Shane was like, it's just written on a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's fine.
Who cares? It's
no
all
big
fine.
deal.
So
Those papers matter.
so that's why logistically, Shane is giving suggestions, but Harbaugh is making decisions. Is that the correct way to look at it?
The way it works in that dynamic is Shane sets the board, initially, then the coaches go in and they have their input, and then the board is reset, and then there's shuffling even up to the last day, right before the draft, and it could be down the line, later rounds, but there's a lot of movement. But the actual who makes the final say, especially if there's some sort of dispute in the draft room, it comes down to whoever's got that name on the piece of paper.
If that wasn't the case,
right? Let's move on to pick number 10. Joe Burrow gets another offensive weapon. Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. Do you like this, Coach?
No, I don't like it. Would it surprise me? It wouldn't surprise me at all. And I've seen the Kyle Pitts comparisons. I don't see him as being as explosive as Kyle Pitts was on college tape. And he is another guy where he plays a position of tight end, but really he's a big wide receiver. You're not gonna run at him. He's not gonna be at the point of attack in the running game. It doesn't improve that aspect of the Bengals offense, which is a huge deficiency for the Bengals offense. So yeah, you got another pass catcher.
That's what they like to do, though.
Yeah,
they like pass catchers.
Yeah, and it really hasn't worked out. So go ahead.
I mean, nothing against Sadiq. He is a nice prospect, but if this happens, pink slip should be handed out. I mean, they just lost. They're a bad defense already. They just lost their best defensive player to a division rival, and you're not going to strengthen the I mean, they should be all defensive players.
At some point, you got to change.
My goodness.
The way you do things.
Or maybe it's like we're not one defensive player away from being good anyway. So what if we just have
We're
the
one
best
offensive
offense?
player.
What if we just have right? What if we
5:30.
just have the? What if we're just the 8 seconds or less song? We're just the best offense.
All right, back to the draft. Dolphins on the clock, pick number 11.
Dolphins, listen, they're in a full-on teardown. However, you did sign Malik Willis. You traded away his weapons. You at least want to give him a little bit of protection. Take Fano, the tackle, out of Utah. Cowboys, I think, would run to the board to put to hand this pick in. The top corner, a guy a lot of people, I think, incorrectly think the Chiefs could take at 9. Delaney out of LSU. Everyone's top corner in this draft. Cowboys need help at every aspect of the secondary. You could argue a lot of aspects of the defense, but particularly the secondary after some of their higher-priced guys in Bland and Diggs didn't work out, so they take him. I like this fit a lot, not just because he would be able to stay home, but Lemon out of USC to the Rams. A, he can play the slot or the outside. B, Devontae Adams is obviously, getting older, and all of a sudden, Puka Nakua's availability is a question mark. They are an ultimate win now team that now all of a sudden in the short and long term might have questions at wide receiver. Lemon at USC. Brew, I've got your Ravens going with the best available interior offensive lineman. Now, he hasn't played much center at all. I think like 20 snaps total, but he's played both guard spots. They need help on the interior of the offensive line. I feel like that's almost a must-draft positional spot there. The Bucs have been trying to address edge rusher in the draft for years. They have hit to some, in some capacity, but no real stars. They take another swing at it with Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. And then what I think would be, with respect to Orlovsky, a massive overdraft. But the Jets are kind of known for a massive overdraft. And the Jets are one of the top draft picks for team most likely to have their board completely reshuffled by the owner the day before the draft. Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, goes to the Jets. The Lions still need an edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson. They go with Messidor, the bookend from Miami, along with Reuben Bain. The Vikings, Jordan Tyson. They have Kyler Murray. I feel like Jordan Addison's star has dimmed over the last couple of years for lack of on-field production and off-field.
I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised
questions.
by that.
It feels like the defense has people everywhere already.
Yeah.
And I could see them going going wide receiver if they've decided this is Addison's 4th year and we're not going to re-sign him to a big deal. We need to reset the clock there. Get Wild's guy, Bryce Young, some offensive line help with Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. And the Cowboys, remember they thought Logan Wilson was going to transform the defense. That didn't work out. They take not a pass rushing linebacker, but more of a traditional linebacker in C.J. Allen out of Georgia to address the defense 2 times in the middle third of the draft.
Okay, 2 Cowboys defensive picks in the top 20. Cornerback and linebacker. Coach, do you like the Cowboys focusing on their defense? And will it work having rookies that early?
Yeah, what you're trying to do when you draft a rookie in the first round is you're hoping you're getting 1,000 snaps. You're hoping he can come in and he can...
1,000 snaps? Wow.
Yeah, you're looking for them to play, to contribute, and a combination of either pure defense or defense and special teams, somewhere around that number. And if they can go insert 2 young guys that potentially can upgrade. I mean, look, the defense was so bad, I would imagine it would be an instant upgrade by both of these guys. And I feel like offensively, they're going to be competitive with the group that they have. They did a really good job. They exceeded expectations last year. Yeah. I would anticipate them being, somewhere close to where they were this past season offensively.
I totally agree with this, going defense. I mean, if Dak is healthy, they're always one of the top offenses. And that's even, I think, would be without George Pickens. But him and CD, they're going to score. And I think they've obviously made some additions defensively. But I think the only, great player they've added is Quentin Williams. They've added a lot of good players. And you get some at least good players in this draft. And you can have a solid defense even if there's only a couple of stars maybe. So I like this.
Yeah, I could have actually seen them going with one of the very good safeties that hasn't gone off the board yet, but I just wonder if a team would be hesitant about having two rookies in the secondary starting at the same time, but I think that might be also where they have another need.
All right. You could also trade back, try to pick up another pick with that pick.
Take a look at the Jets grabbing Ty Simpson from Alabama. Joined Gino, who Aaron Glenn said was going to take the Jets to the promised land, so it would be kind of strange to have another quarterback. Do you think the Jets draft a quarterback?
I mean, they could. I don't think it's going to work out very well. I mean, their quarterbacks work out well when they go somewhere else. Now we're going to get a chance to see whether their quarterbacks work out well when they come back. So they'll get their future quarterback, even though their past future quarterback is now their current quarterback. And at the end of the day, Aaron Glenn should probably go draft defensive players, play with what they have, because if it goes south this season, it's just going to be a new head coach working with them anyways.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard 8 wins described as a promised land. But no, I don't think they should draft Simpson here because now look, it changes, but next year's quarterback draft is supposed to be really good. So let's say they draft Simpson, it doesn't go well. Now you're going to have 2 really young quarterbacks in your state. Like, I don't think they should go Simpson here. Build, like Coach said, build elsewhere. And then maybe next year, Gino could be okay. And next year get your long-term quarterback.
And when you draft a quarterback in the first round, as we all know, it doesn't take very long for everybody to start clamoring for that guy to play.
Yeah.
Right.
To be clear, I think this would be a disastrous decision, which is why I think the Jets.
It's predictive.
Exactly.
Back to the draft, the Steelers. The draft is in Pittsburgh, on the board at 21.
Yeah, listen, he is an all-time legend at defensive end, Cameron Hayward, defensive end D tackle. He's also the oldest every down defensive player in the league, and TJ Watt's getting older, so I think Caden McDonald, is to try to add right now depth and then eventually heir apparent makes sense there. Listen, the Chargers, well, yeah, they got the tackles back, but the interior of that offensive line, no one could win with that. Those excuses, I already see them being brewed up in Danny's workshop. So they take one of the top interior offensive linemen, Pregnon, out of Oregon at 22. The Eagles, I believe, anticipating an A.J. Brown trade, end up trading for Omar Cooper, the national champion out of Indiana.
He's great.
And the Browns again, this to me is McCoy probably would have been a top 12 pick, but he blew out his knee prior to last year, didn't play last year. Now he might not be a first-round pick. Those are the types of guys, if you're Cleveland, with your second first-round pick, I think you should look at. Like the super high upside, even if he takes a minute to get acclimated. And then
huge neck too.
I love that. That is a great indicator of athletic excellence. So the Bears thought they had their left tackle, and they unfortunately ruptured his patella tendon in the playoffs. They think he's going to be out basically all of next year. Caden Proctor, coach, he's the tackle from Alabama that we saw catching the passes and rumbling and running down like maybe the most athletic 380-pounder I've ever seen in my life.
That'd be great.
I feel like the Bears all of a sudden have to address left tackle because of that, and so we have him going there. The Bills have been trying to get corner correct in the draft for a couple years. I know they just drafted Maxwell Hairston. They take another shot at it with Terrell out of Clemson. And then I think the Niners need to start looking at a post-Trent Williams world, especially at his age. They go offensive line with Blake Miller from Clemson. The Texans always need to address offensive line. They go, again, I apologize if I butcher this last name, Ian Archer out of Arizona State. The Chiefs go with more secondary help after losing Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie, and Brian Cook this offseason with Tiemann out of Oregon. The Dolphins also take a safety, McNeil Warren out of Toledo. And then the Patriots, having lost Stephon Diggs, having, not necessarily traded for A.J. Brown, they take Denzel Boston out of Washington. And the Seahawks, after losing a few defenders in free agency, add to their defensive depth with Cassius Howell, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M.
You like this, Coach?
I like the Denzel Boston pick in Boston.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
No, I like that. Well, I like him too a lot. I thought I thought Nick would maybe even have him higher than he is there because I
like
think that could be a great fit.
Chiefs sticking with their defense here, both picks in the first.
Yeah, with Bain, you watch him on tape, he's high motor, he's physical, he can go speed to power, there's tremendous strength. All those things are really positive. And I hate to bring up the arm length statistic, but unfortunately, he's at 30, a little bit under 31.
Yeah.
So in 20 years, no one with that arm length has ever had double-digit sacks in the NFL. So that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just not. You don't love having that.
They play the Patriots, and either Hero or Will Campbell can reach each other.
They can have a battle royal.
It just means it won't happen.
The safety.
It's impossible, but not likely.
The safety I really like. His change of direction, his aggressiveness, his ability to find holes and fill holes. It's impressive, and it's a little bit of he's got like a strong safety mentality and a little bit of a free safety body. So when he hits, he sometimes takes some of the brunt of that as opposed to really being able to knock guys back. But he's flying up there. My biggest concern with him, he's rangy in the secondary, but there's not a lot of interceptions. I don't think he has great ball skills, and that's the one area where I wish he was better at. He had 6 his freshman year, but then he had 2 last season. I don't think he had any of the year before, so that's a problem. But as a run defender and part of that secondary, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how many defensive backs they've lost this offseason. Yeah, they absolutely need that. I wouldn't mind on the other, and I know they need an edge too, but maybe going receiver. You still Rashee Rice with. Yeah. I don't know if Worthy. He probably, to me, maybe not big enough to be a 1 consistently.
No.
So.
So just on the Chiefs receiver note. So Andy came out just this last week and basically said that everything they had planned for Xavier got thrown off by the injury in week 1 as far as how they felt comfortable using him. Now, some might read that and and what's going to happen when he gets injured in week 4 next year because of his size, which is a real concern. And on the Rice front, this is not a value proposition. This is just reporting what the league said. He's not getting suspended. The league came out and said, we investigated the allegations. He's not getting suspended. So I don't know how much of the Chiefs draft plans are changed by the fact that, at least as of now, they don't have to worry about Rashee Rice missing time.
What do you think about Sadiq for them?
I don't think with the 9th pick, the Chiefs can take a luxury position. I just don't. I think they got to take edge or wide receiver.
1.0, 2.0 next week. LeBron's statement game against the Mavs. That's next on First Things First, right here on FS1.
As I've played, and I've been in those situations a million times, and we as a coach, you go on the information you have, and he was medically cleared. When Austin came back, I asked directly, I thought he was hurt. No, he's medically cleared. The group wanted to go for it in the second half.
What's your reaction to that? They were down 30 plus, I think.
All right. I am not as critical of him letting Luka play for 2 reasons. One is Luka is the best player on the team. He wanted to keep playing. And if every game that Luka in the first quarter at some point grabbed at his hamstring, he then didn't play in the second half, he would have only played 30 games this year. He does that little a lot. That's why
really?
Maybe not 30 times the hamstring, but he grabs at stuff, he's wincing, he's doing that all the time. So I was not as concerned at the Luka thing as you were. The fact that JJ said, I said to my trainers, I thought Austin was hurt. They're like, no, he's fine. Well, that's when you take into account you're down 30. And okay, you thought he was hurt and you're down 30, so you probably don't play him anymore. So I think the Austin thing is worse than the Luka thing.
I'm not absolving JJ 100%, but I got to put the bulk of this blame on the trainers. I'm sorry, JJ Redick's not a coach. I mean, not a trainer, not a medical doctor.
JJ Redick's a botanist.
What if I see you? A guy can get a little pain, I got bumped here, it's sore, and it'd be nothing.
Yeah.
But if I go to you as a doctor and I say, look, I saw Austin grabbing his back. Is he all right to play? You checked him out, right? Yeah, we looked at him. He's good. I mean, I'm going to trust you. Now, maybe not going forward after this game,
Well, I think
but I'm
it's
going to trust you. I get that they were down 30. Like I said last week, look, they are playing them tomorrow. They might play them in the playoffs. I can understand you wanting to throw your starters out there for maybe first 6 minutes,
that's
like
what
he
he
said.
yeah.
Get a little something positive going, whether you're going to come back in that game or not, just to kind of erase the complete blowout.
I think it is an indictment on the trainers that Luka's in Spain right now. I understand it's being framed as.
Kobe used to, remember Kobe
went to Germany in the offseason to do stuff, right? There are treatments. It's not like, I understand there are certain treatments that are legal in Spain that aren't FDA approved here. I get that. But it also is.
That's what he's going to be getting to.
It's also noteworthy, though, that he thinks the best place for me to rehab my hamstring is not with the Lakers team doctors. They're the Lakers, an NBA team. Like that is something. It's not, it's not nothing to me.
Yeah. I would also just fly the doctors here.
No, you can't. The procedure's not legal here.
Right.
It's not FDA approved.
What if you're in the open sea?
Okay, yeah.
There's something going on over there in Europe.
That's that whole thing.
It's just different.
I got to go to Europe.
It's just different FDAs. But go ahead.
Luka's out, Austin's out. LeBron at 39 and 15. But the Lakers lose, and Cooper Flagg scored 40 points. They could fade in the West, but they can't fall further than 5?
5's their floor now.
Okay. What did you make of LeBron's performance?
It made me wonder, Brew. It made me change his likely hierarchy list of teams for next year.
Interesting.
Seeing that he could just, listen, the Mavs stink. I'm not acting like he would be doing this every night. They hadn't won a home game since late January. Okay, so but him going from lowest usage of his career, and by career I mean Pee-wee basketball to now, to 39 and 15 seamlessly. And he started the game 10 of 15 from the field.
7 of 8.
Yeah, made me feel like, Cleveland is less likely than I thought.
Because of Harden or because of...
Because he'd be third option again, as far as ball in his hands. Because Harden can't play without ball in his hands. Donovan is best with the ball in his hands.
They're not equipped to do
it. They're
it.
not equipped to do it. And the fact that he...
Like Luka and Austin.
Correct. And so it made me feel like the Knicks were a little more likely. Brunson obviously would be the primary, but LeBron would be the number one secondary. You know what I mean? And could take some of the workload off him. It made me feel like the Golden State thing
that's what I'm
was more, because Steph doesn't need the ball in his hand. Steph's not, constantly bringing the ball up. It made me wonder more about the odd little splash of a report from the McMiniman article that Denver had been kicked around. Because I understand Joker is
he touches it.
Every possession, but he's not bringing it up, orchestrating all the time. And so it was good. It was very interesting that LeBron really is it's not like, oh, he's taking on this third role because he can't do, that's the role he has to have. As opposed to it's the role they needed him to have. But I liked seeing old LeBron again for a night.
Well, he was phenomenal, and he seemed like he enjoyed, being back in that role. The thing is, I don't think he could do this.
No.
I mean, I'm not even talking about 30-15, but have the responsibility of running the offense 80, 70 games a season. Mm-hmm. And also, you notice, they lost that. The defense suffered badly. We know he's not the defender he used to be, but he's one of their better defenders, especially when he was the third option offensively. He couldn't be that yesterday, and they gave up 52% shooting, 43% shooting from 3, and that was why they lost the game. But I think, Nick, look, I think he might be willing to play that third role again for the Lakers. Have to take a lot less money. But New York makes sense. If they go out even if they go out in the conference finals, they may be like, look, this group isn't doing it. And if I'm the Lakers, I haven't done the machine or whatever, but a Mikal Bridge, he would be good for the Lakers. An OG Anunoby.
I don't think that,
would it have to be a trade?
He'll be a free agent, so he could just
Well, if he wants to take little money, but I'm just saying if it was a trade, they got some pieces I would want to put around Luka. Milwaukee, I'm just throwing out teams.
Ugh.
If you're Milwaukee and you want to try
up.
to salvage Giannis,
He's not staying.
and you, I don't think he's leaving
Milwaukee.
LA.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think he wants to stay. I think that's part of why
Okay,
he
can't-
took the third
Bucks.
option, so he can show him, look, I can play this role with Luka and help. Golden State makes a ton of sense. They wouldn't win.
What about
West,
the
but-
Clippers?
Yeah, because I think he wants
Really?
to stay in LA. Yeah, if the Lakers don't want him, I think the Clippers are definitely in play.
He would run the show.
I think he wants to stay in LA, and he'd be with Kawhi, and you can at least think and Ty Lue. Here's
I mean, the
one.
Ty
Here's
Lue
one. I'm
factor is
just throwing
interesting.
out. I
More
don't think
throwing
he.
out
I
than
don't
just
think he'd go
Milwaukee?
there. Yeah, this is kind of in that vein.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
Let me try. Let's try to guess it.
It's
He's
a
just
contender.
throwing
It
out
will be a
a
contender.
contender.
Yeah.
Houston.
Oh, the Hawks.
They're not a contender.
The Hawks?
Minnesota. They have very little ways to improve, I feel like. And if you're like if they got LeBron and he can handle the ball, get Ant off the ball, I don't think he'd go there. I'm just saying
What?
that.
Can I ask you a question? Now that Bronny,
Is in the rotation.
well, he's played with them. He even like kind of got mad at him. Yeah, it was he has checked every box.
Oh, retirement? Sorry?
No. But earlier, you're like, he liked this. He liked having fun. So maybe, and I'm not saying he's not the ultimate competitor, that championship isn't A1. Maybe just having fun playing
So
basketball.
you mean Golden State?
Racking up numbers.
Golden State.
Well, he means Golden State, him and Steph.
Having
where
a
they
blast,
can't really
No,
win.
being
that-
the
yeah.
show.
Well, look.
It's great. He's
And it would not.
great for the
Jimmy
league.
Butler would be back at some point. I'm not saying they'd be high contenders, but I think they could be as good as these Lakers have been this
Yes,
season.
and he'd have a blast.
With Steph and with Draymond and with Jimmy Butler?
I don't think they would have the ceiling because I don't think they would have a player Luka's caliber.
Yeah, but he's one player. They have look, Steph
Well,
is still.
Wouldn't want to see him in the playoffs.
Here's what I
think
will
they
say.
could be as good.
I do think the chances of him going to Golden State have gone up by the fact that the Warriors are not going to make the real playoffs. Like the Warriors are under
Yeah, you're
500,
not
they're
going-
the
yeah.
10 seed.
You're right.
Like
You
if
would
the
be
Warriors
helping
had
them.
been like a 50-win 4 seed with Steph healthy all year, I think him going there is less likely. But the fact that the Warriors are, clearly on the down, I think
It
makes
would
it
be
more
so much
available
fun.
for him to be like, let me go play with Steph and help him out.
It'd be so
rather
much
than
fun.
just team up.
Can Giannis get there as well?
No, what did he talk?
Giannis, Steph, LeBron? Well, I don't think LeBron's asking for the max.
I don't think they have the assets to trade for Giannis.
I like it though, wow.
Welcome back to First Things First. UConn and Michigan tonight for all the marbles. Wolverines out here crushing teams. UConn thriving on defense. Danny Hurley says, you know what? You only need to be the better team one night. It's not a 7-game series, okay? Take a listen.
You don't have to be the best team. You don't have to have the best season to win this tournament. These are all one games, game 7, single game elimination. There's been plenty of times in the history of this tournament where the best team hasn't won it. You just got to be better for one night.
I like that. This tournament, look at Michigan scoring 94 points. Huskies only allowing 65. So the number 1 offense versus the number 6 defense. Brew, both daughters went to Michigan?
No.
No, one daughter went to Michigan.
So who you got?
Well, Michigan has a lot of my money. So I feel like they owe me this. But, the heart goes where the heart goes.
Get out of town.
I might have to sit down and start watching it to know which way my heart's going. But here's my deal. I love seeing history made. I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan, but I loved it when he won 7 because it's like, man, that's
went to
awesome.
Michigan, though.
No franchise even won 7. And my daughter's not like a huge sports fan, so she's not like all on me. You got to go with Michigan.
You don't have a lot of
would
Michigan
love-
gear. Like, you don't show up.
Yeah, I
in
had
all-
some
today,
in the
a
day. I
Michigan
wore.
shirt.
Oh, I
I
didn't
do
see
have
that.
a little bit.
Yeah, watch
So
the
I got
I'm
a little soft spot for Michigan, but I just would really, if Hurley became the
Wow.
first person to win 3 out of 4 since John Wooden, I just think that'd be a great story. So I kind of would like to see that. Michigan's better on paper.
I'm
no
also
question.
conflicted.
Really? This is
This
great
is a
for
bit
me.
of like a Sophie's choice. Sophie's choice is, metaphorically, choosing between 2 children you love. So I guess it's kind of the opposite.
It's kind of not like it at all.
Because it's either Danny Parkins will be obnoxious or Kevin Wiles
I'm not going to be obnoxious.
I hate you.
I've got plenty of success and championships in New England right now.
And, however, I have to go with what I believe to be true, which is Danny has been right all along.
He has been
Michigan is too big. Michigan.
Illinois was big.
Correct.
I understand, but Illinois was not quite as good as Michigan throughout the year. Michigan's losses this year are a 3-point loss to Wisconsin, a 5-point loss to Duke. You know, Duke, when some people thought was the best team in the country, and Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. Here's what Michigan has done this tournament. They have won every game by at least 13 points. Teams that have done that, if we show you that, is the 2 UConn teams that won the title and a UNC team that lost on a buzzer-beating 3 by Chris Jenkins.
I saw a set that they're winning by 22.
No.
13 is even.
Hold on. I'm not talking about the
entering. I'm sorry.
No.
Entering.
No. It's not the entering. It's that the smallest margin of victory is 13.
Gotcha.
They're not, and so I now have a different graphic, which is average margin of victory, excluding round 1. Because some teams win round 1 by 50 against a 16 seed and it inflates it. So you look at, they are winning these games by 21.8. Here are all the teams that have won by at least 20 since they've expanded the tournament. All but Duke in 99 won the championship. That's Antoine's Kentucky team. That's the Villanova team we just mentioned. UConn a couple years ago and Michigan this year. So they're just waxing people. And they haven't been tested yet. Yes, if it's close late, you like UConn. I don't know why it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but this feels to me like a game.
Well, let's see what
Michigan is up 9 points the whole time.
And UConn has an injury too.
Yeah,
Solo.
So, but he's off the injury report, so I think he's going to play. But he was grabbing at his ankle.
Well, he was wearing a walking boot right after the game.
But he's going to be okay. All right, 2 things about that. Duke had a regular season margin of victory was around 20. They were top 3 in the country. In that UConn game, once UConn started to storm back, I felt like they were in unfamiliar territory. Same with, I know it's, women's and men's. UConn women's average margin of victory is like 34, I think. Once South Carolina got close, I feel like they got nervous. If the game is close, I think UConn is going to feel confident. I think Michigan is going to be nervous. I think the coaching edge goes to Danny Hurley. I think the pressure is on Michigan. Danny Hurley is 11-0 from the Sweet 16 onward. I feel very good about UConn. Do we have time to talk about the ramifications of this?
You got a minute.
He's 13-1 in the Final Four.
UConn.
I think
UConn's 13-1 in the Final Four.
Yeah.
What do you think this means for Danny Hurley? I have a longer answer than 60 seconds, so I'm going to save it for tomorrow's championship.
Well, then you go. What would it mean? Yeah. You go.
I wonder if it becomes him and John Wooden to win the only two coaches to win 3 in the last 4 years. Does he reach another level of coaching wisdom? John Wooden's a great basketball coach, but as time has traveled, he's almost viewed as a leader. You can pull stuff from John. We've pulled stuff from John Wooden on this show when we say, hey, we should be quick but not in a hurry. That's John Wooden.
Right.
I wonder if some of Danny Hurley's legacy will be the leadership lessons that are a little bit buried underneath the surface on top of the antics, the intensity, the raw stats of winning. Underneath there is a guy who's built a culture of winning. I wonder if that starts to rise to the surface with this win.
Now I'm really rooting for Michigan. If you're gonna, all of a sudden, I'm gonna have to take corporate workshops from a guy who just screams at officials like a maniac.
Consistent improvement.
Look.
Don't worry about the outcomes. It's about the process. Relentless competitive effort.
Go Blue.
You know what you need to go for? Mindful communication.
Go Blue.
Your words can hurt. Okay.
I mean, they're also a boozer mind melt away from just being out.
If he wins this game, though, they are not the best team on paper. That would be incredible.
First things first, overtime. Who would you rather have in this playoff run, Joker or Wemby? We discuss after an epic game. Meanwhile, Headed to the Diamond, Dontrelle Willis joins the show. Is it too soon to talk about the Dodgers three-peat? And also, can you please ask him, Danny, what is wrong with the Red Sox?
Everything.
Finally, not everything.
Not great.
It's just
what are they good at?
honestly,
late
not
early.
much. It's getting late early.
Yeah.
Love that.
Fernando Mendoza changing a franchise. Could they make the playoffs?
Really?
Were you wrong
We're
or just too
going
early?
there again?
I'm ready to go there.
Nick was in love with him.
Guys,
I'm ready to go there.
It is unbelievable that we treat my Raiders to the playoffs pick as if it's the only bad prediction this show's ever
It was
had.
the worst.
Well, there was also the Bears to the Super Bowl pick too.
That was
pretty
kind
bad,
of
too.
like,
Yeah, was either as bad as KW's Dolphins Cardinals Super Bowl?
for the record.
Dolphins Cardinals.
We
For the
knew that
record.
was just like.
No, it wasn't. No, it
that was
wasn't.
just him.
Was
being
that worse
silly.
than
Him
your
being silly.
Ravens winning the Super Bowl pick this
Last
year?
year?
Yeah.
Well,
they missed
that's
the playoffs.
just an annual pick.
That's worse. Raiders is worse.
Parkins, what's the War Room segment? Give us a quick tease as we talk about the Raiders.
Myself, Coach Mangini, Willie Colon, and we kind of tackle big issues heading into the draft. We call it the OT War Room.
And they're standing.
And we stand.
Really?
Yeah,
So-
they
so
stand
over
and
there.
there's a wall with graphics.
It's a different set.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
So it's like a real war room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's testy?
Yeah.
Like a real war room?
Yeah, phones on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike. But you are
They're
standing.
Standing.
So
and
first
Willie's
thing first.
gonna smack Danny up the backside of his head.
What?
Really? Now in
You
the
know
draft.
what, Danny?
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, that's an old
teammate.
segment. We're not.
But it's cool.
Go to that well too often.
One off air, one on air. It's fine.
We're starting in Dallas, although this was in OKC. Luka is hurt. He's headed to Europe to try to
What is going on here? I just leave it at
what,
that.
in Europe.
It's
Yeah,
just
what's
different.
going on in Europe?
Just different
Well,
stuff.
we don't play in Europe. We play in
No,
America.
I understand.
Also-
that. Never mind.
I don't get it.
The real question is, should Austin go to Europe?
What?
Yeah, they all might as well go to Europe.
You got to go to Europe, dude.
Are you really trying to come back?
If you're not in Europe.
Right.
Like he's flying private.
Austin,
Like,
what up?
why aren't you going
I
to
got
Europe?
a seat on the plane for you. You don't
I'm
want
going to stick with the domestic doctors. LeBron had 30 points. Are you giving the Lakers? Oh, no, here's LeBron. He was upset when he found out everybody's injured.
Took my nap after practice, and I woke up with that news. That was like another shot to the. That was like, we knew we it was a shot to the heart, obviously, and to the chest and to the mainframe with Luka, understanding that. But we kind of got that news kind of, we got that news kind of quick, and AR, was kind of dealing with the pain. We seen OKC, whatever the case may be, and we knew he was going to get an MRI, but. I woke up from my nap yesterday and then saw that news. I was like,
Interesting. Are you giving the Lakers any shot in round one, Parkins?
No.
0.
0.0. Blutarski's grade point average. It is over. They have no chance. Timely reference, movie from the 70s. But we all agreed various levels of many conversations about the Lakers. Like, their path was, well, maybe they can be the best offense in the sport. Like, they could outscore you.
Yeah.
Right? And now their two best offensive players, or two of their best three, depending on where you have LeBron falling into that spectrum now, are best case scenario going to be dropped into the playoffs. Maybe one of them, probably limited, coming off injury. It just seems almost impossible to imagine this team making any sort of noise. And yes, you've been higher on the Lakers than I have been at all times, but you made pretty convincing arguments at times, so much so that back on March 20th, you convinced me to make a couple of wagers, Nick.
Oh, because they were 40-1 or 30-1 or whatever it was. Yeah.
So on March 20th, I made a couple of losing bets. 22-1 to win the West, 45-1 to win the title. Today, they are 170-1 to win the West and 300-1 to win the title.
I don't think they can win the title.
Over.
Well, and again, now we're going to go round and round again, and I don't mean to. Can the Lakers win the title given the fact that two of their three best players are out? No. Given the fact that it looks like at least one of those guys would not be back. I don't think Austin is supposed to be back until the conference finals, and there is no shot they upset anybody in round two without a full-strength team and a lot of luck. But I am giving them a shot in round one because I think Luka is going to be back before game 3 of round one. And
At
so
100%?
I saw Luka come back after his Achilles was bothering him, or right in the hamstring. I don't remember. It was hamstring. The year they made the conference finals in Dallas, he got hurt the final day of the regular season, and then missed the first 2 games of the playoffs. So less time, now a less severe hamstring injury. Didn't go to Spain for that one. Came back, and by his second game back, he was himself. One of the kind of brilliant pieces of Luka's game is it is not athleticism reliant. Now, it is stop and start. You know what I mean? And so you obviously need to be able to move. But so here is kind of where I land on this, Brew. I don't see a scenario where they play Denver in round 1. Because Denver is, to me, pretty clearly going to be the 3, or the only way Denver is the 4 is if the Lakers somehow hold them off. And if Denver's the 3, the Lakers can't fall to the 6. It's impossible.
Right.
So they are playing in round 1, either Minnesota, who the story right now is Anthony Edwards has runner's knee, and they don't know what's going on with him, or the Rockets, who granted have been on a nice stretch, but we've talked about how at odds they are with each other. Do I think that if Luka gets dropped into either of those series, particularly the Rocket series, I think the Timberwolves are a terrible matchup if Anthony's healthy, that the Lakers could win that? Yeah, I'm giving them a shot. I'm not giving them 0.0. Do I think they can then turn that around from there and upset a massive upset in round 2? No, because I don't think they will have Austin. If they do, he will be more limited, and I don't think Luka's going to be 100%. But LeBron, to me, showed us last night, there is a chance that he can just win you a playoff game. And if he can keep them afloat while Luka is, again, last night they lost to the Mavs.
It's a horrible team. LeBron was great.
And so I think 0.0 is crazy, unless we find out Luka's done for the year. And the fact that Luka's in Spain means he's trying not to be done for the year.
Yeah, see, I'm not so much counting on Luka being back for the first round. I agree. If Ant can't play and be himself, sure, they could be live in that series. Houston, without Luka, I'm not counting on Luka being back. And if he's not back, they're done. Remember, LeBron, the first round might be basically every other day. And that's going to be tougher for LeBron.
No, the first round usually is the one most spread out historically.
There are a lot of first round. Some of them aren't every other day.
I mean, if it goes 7 games, it's like 2.5 weeks in round 1. So first round is unfortunately usually the one with the most time, and then conference finals is when they go every other day.
I just think that they're pretty much done. I don't know if I go 0.0. But I think they're done. And Houston, I tell you what, if they cannot lose to a Lakers team without Reaves and
no, that would be a disaster. And I am assuming that Anthony Edwards would be good to go. But it's just this is too much to lose with too little time left. The playoffs start April 18th.
Yeah,
right. We're talking 12 days away.
It's probably wishful thinking to think Luka's going.
I mean, I guess again, here's what I will say. I just looked at like the playoff schedules from last year, Houston's from last year. Houston last year played their game 3 of the playoffs on the Sunday or the Saturday or Sunday after the playoffs started. So the equivalent essentially of April 25th this year. Luka got hurt on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So he would be, if he were back for that period of time, it would be a little over 3 weeks. I think he is pretty clearly of the belief I can get back. And wow. Let me ask you this. Do you agree with me that if the Lakers were the 5 seed, if they fell to the 5, and they play Houston, and they lose the first 2 games in Houston, and then Luka comes back, that they're alive? Even down 0-2?
Barely.
Okay.
I would think Houston's going to win that series if they're up 0-2.
Yeah, no Reaves. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would take Houston.
Yeah. I like your optimism.
I just don't think I think that there is a collection of folks, a couple of which are on my left and right, I'm not talking about you, Brew, who have wanted the Lakers to be fake all year. And now
I don't know if want is the right word.
KW, every time you get a little glimmer in your eye, you smirk, you laugh, you do the whole thing. You just said you're going to be in a tuxedo.
Because I'm a good teammate.
No, KW.
Because you told me that you were very unhappy with the moves that Rob Pelinka has made on this team.
Yes.
And I chose to believe you. And then they started to win,
it's
and
about
Luka started to score 40 points, and they started to win. And all of Rob Pelinka's team-building miscues went out the window. And I still hold on to that original take. I don't think this team is deep enough and plays good enough defense.
Hold on. I say this respectfully. I don't think that's your issue with the Lakers. I think your issue with the Lakers is for some reason Luka is not in the group of players
I'm not enraptured by Luka.
No, but for you, guys like Anthony Edwards or Şengün or LaMelo Ball, these players who have accomplished 5%, except for Anthony Edwards, who's accomplished 75%, who are all worse than Luka, and all have more glaring flaws than Luka. You love and believe in, and Luka, and you're not the only person that feels this way because of how he acts on the court. You just don't like it.
No, he's an amazing player. I just didn't believe in the long-term viability of this team. I never bought that they were a great defensive team. I never bought that they were a middle-of-the-road defensive team.
Right, but the same thing applies to the team we're about to talk about in Denver, and you're going to tell us about how you think they can win the title.
Because with Aaron Gordon back, they are a top 10 defensive team.
Okay.
And we've seen them win the title.
Okay.
Headed in Denver.
And there's that.
Right? I mean, that seems to matter.
Jokic got over on the Spurs, 48-13, 3 blocks, no turnovers, overtime, W. Denver's won 8 in a row. Here's Denver's head coach. Take a listen.
It's good for sports. I mean, the way they both do it is completely different, and at the same time, it's its own unique, awesome thing. And like I said, that's what I was talking about buying a ticket to this. You're not going to see two people like this in many generations. This is definitely a fan kind of game. Sometimes not for a coach, I'll tell you that much, because both guys can do things that are unguardable at times.
Well, who'd you rather have these playoffs, Joker or Wemby?
Joker.
Yeah.
Because, and Brew, this is the cousin of the only pushback I gave against you when you declared Wemby the best player in the world. And I was like, have we ever done it in the history of basketball since you've been watching it before the guy even plays a single playoff game? And Joker has 21 career playoff triple-doubles. It's just hard for me to take the guy who's played 0 playoff games and say he is ready to be definitively a better playoff performer than the champion, the Finals MVP, the Western Conference Finals MVP, who's 3rd all-time in playoff triple-doubles, say he's a better playoff player than him right here and now. And this is not a large sample size, obviously. Wemby had 1 made basket in the last 14 minutes of that game. When he played 40 minutes, like that pace.
Right, but he had a lot of free throws because he had 12 points in the fourth.
He had free throws, and he was obviously still exerting a ton of energy on defense.
It felt like in the overtime, that Joker had more left in the tank than Wemby.
Well, he definitely outplayed.
Yeah, and so and I have absolutely said this about Wemby, the assumption that as he plays 36 to 38 minutes a night in this upcoming postseason, that will be additive. And it probably will be to his counting stats, but will it be to his efficiency and effectiveness on the defensive end of the floor?
Believe it or not, I'm a bit torn on this.
Really?
Because Joker obviously has the experience. And my main takeaway from yesterday, game-wise, was you can kind of see the experience of Denver overriding the youthfulness of San Antonio. But I've also seen Jokic for 10 years in the league, 7 years in the playoffs. Win a championship, yes. But as great as he is and as great as his numbers are, he hasn't had a ton of playoff success. And so it's not like we know, like he's been to 2 conference championships. That's it. And so Wemby, you talked about conventional wisdom, which is their lack of experience is going to cost them, and it very well might. But I also think we have to throw some conventional wisdom out because conventional wisdom told us we would never, ever see this. a 7'5" guy with handle like a guard, moves, shoots the three, like does everything he does. And so I kind of feel like I'll be satisfied with Wemby. No, I'm dead serious. Like yesterday, Jokic got the best of Wemby. They both played great, but Jokic got the best of him. But I'm not convinced that would happen. I think Jokic would get his, but I think they could be even in the playoffs.
When they've played each other, it seems like Jokic has a chip on his shoulder. Their numbers,
and I think Wemby will have a chip on his shoulder too. Like I'm torn on this, but I can say Wemby. I'm dead serious.
I'm not saying you can't.
No, I'm dead serious.
I think Joker is the answer over Joker or anybody. I think Joker's the best player in the league.
Over Shea?
Shea's tough.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I think, yeah.
Joker's great. He certainly could be the best player in the league, but I mean, Shea, I think had more playoff success in terms of the amount of time they've played in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just a team thing, right? This is an individual question versus team accomplishment.
Shea's been to. You're right. Shea's been in the league less. But since Shea's been awesome, Joker's won a title. Shea's won a title. Joker's been to. Shea wasn't quite awesome when Joker made in the 2020 year. The reason I found this game so fun and fascinating is it was, to me, a perfect reminder of great offense beats great defense on an individual level in this league. It always has. You know what? Post Bill Russell, it always has. You know what I mean? And again, I can't speak to why.
I think that might be arguable because for a lot of the portion of the league, the Bulls were a phenomenal defensive team. The Pistons, when they've won it, you know what I mean?
Hold on,
Those have been defensive teams.
Definitely. Thank you for that, because I need to clarify what I mean. I don't mean a better offensive team beats a better defensive team. I mean a great offensive player being matched up with a great defensive player. The great offensive player can still get his and will get his. Mm-hmm. Like, there is no shutting down a truly great offensive player. That's what you're right that you'd rather have the number one offense or the number one defense and the number 8 offense than vice versa if your goal is to win a championship.
That's the Thunder. The Thunder are the best defensive team. They're the heavy favorites to win the final.
And so, but Wemby is talked about, I think, fairly as one of the greatest defensive players ever. And Joker put him in a blender defensively. Now, Wemby got his offensively repeatedly. And Wemby was great, but this is now, since post-Wemby's rookie year, they've played 3 times, and Joker scores 41 a game, has his triple-double, and averages 1 turnover a game.
Yep.
And so, he really goes at him. It's why it's Godzilla versus Mothra. I was trying to tell you this. We
Dusty doesn't like that.
They meet. Do we not have? Look, I told you. It's sweeping the world.
Was I even out when this happened?
No, it was the tears. You weren't out. This is new. We made this today.
That's nice.
It's pretty good, right?
I like it.
Gianna, can you check the web to see if that's resonating?
It will now. It will now. Yeah, absolutely.
I just am not familiar enough with Mothra.
With long arms. They're like wings. Wings span with Wemby. Think about it.
Moving on to the national championship game. Number 2 UConn versus number 1 Michigan. Parkins, you've been all over the tournament. From even February. You were getting ready for March Madness. Now, shout out to Gianna. I believe Gianna has won the office pool, but you did place top 3.
I came in second.
Okay, you're the silver medalist.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Are you worried about the UConn Huskies and your number 1 pick, Michigan?
Not particularly.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, Dan Hurley's an amazing coach. Michigan is not undefeated, so it is possible for they have 3 single-digit losses this year: Wisconsin, Duke, and Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. I think the path for an upset here would be 12 to 15 made threes for UConn.
That's right.
Lendeborg being severely limited with that ankle injury, but they're still
Possible.
Sure, it is possible, but he came back in the second half of the final
stood out
four
there and
games.
hit a few threes, but
They're scoring 90 a game. And what I said to you guys in the preview for the tournament is it's the easiest eye test ever. They're a team of giants. Everybody
so
on
is Illinois.
Yes, but this team, the guards are bigger, and the depth of Michigan, I think, is more overwhelming. And Illinois lost every close game they were in this year. They lost every game they went to in overtime. They are not a great executing team, whereas Michigan has been dominant against great teams. So it's single elimination college basketball. Sure, anyone can win in a 40-minute one-off, but I think Michigan's the much better team.
I do think on paper Michigan is much better, but so was Duke.
I love it.
But it also took a Duke true collapse. Yeah. Like a true collapse.
But they had something to do with that too.
Yes.
UConn.
But,
I don't know. I feel like UConn's got a really good chance to win this.
So I always, whenever there is a team, like after Duke lost, a lot of the commentary was about how the other Boozer brother, screwed up. Like I thought I try not to do that with college kids or whatever it was, but he made a mistake. I always have a little bit of a trouble with the team that benefits from someone else's mental error, then becomes the team of destiny. It
wasn't a one-off mental. That was a huge second half.
No, it was a massive comeback that would have mattered absolutely nothing if he just holds the ball, right? Then he's going or just throws it straight up in the air. So it's not that's compared to Michigan, which has just dominated everybody. And so
they dominated Arizona.
We've
who had been
seen
dominating
so
everybody.
many times where, like last week, you guys, understandably, were saying the winner of this game, Arizona, Michigan, is winning it.
Yes.
We've seen so many times where we all thought that, and the opposite happens.
Yes.
I agree. In a series, I would definitely take Michigan. But in one game, with I think the better coach,
better defense.
Yeah.
And oddly, the pedigree that UConn is.
Sure.
Pedigree.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's more likely to win by double digits than UConn is to win.
I agree.
I agree with that, but UConn wins.
Okay.
I love it.
I do agree with that, but I think one-off UConn wins.
Tonight, we've got a rematch of last year's World Series when Shohei Ohtani and the two-time reigning champion Dodgers take on Vlad Jr. and the Blue Jays. Coverage begins tonight right after us, 6 Eastern on FS1. Here to talk about this matchup and the rest of the sport is World Series champion and our friend, Fox baseball analyst Dontrelle Willis. You can catch D-Train on the pregame show following us. Dontrelle, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. So the Dodgers, ho-hum, off to a 7-2 start. The offseason is like, hey, we need some bullpen help. Let's get the best closer in baseball. We need another bat. Let's go get Kyle Tucker. Are there any flaws on this version of the Dodgers?
You know, this is a well-constructed roster. You look at the depth, you look at the talent. Even somebody goes down in injury and Mookie Betts are able to apply a guy like Miguel Rojas, a veteran leader. You go out and get Kyle Tucker. I thought it was April Fool's, even though it wasn't April when they did that. And then you add length to that lineup. He's a guy struggling against lefties, but in his history, he hits lefties and righties. And you pair that with Shohei Ohtani, the game's best player, as well as the supporting cast. And, you get Edwin Diaz. The one factor, the one hole you had is in the back end. He's one of the game's best closers. So right now, it's expected that they're going to play good baseball. They just have to be able to stay healthy. And now my man, Andy Paez, as you're seeing in the highlight, should have been an all-star last year. He's putting all-star numbers thus far early in the season. But it's going to be fun to see how many wins they accumulate in that tough NL West.
Hey, Dontrelle. Eric Mangini, huge Blue Jays fan, the only Blue Jays fan on this desk, had to sit through the World Series with these two haters. But obviously, loved the start to the season, a little worried about the slide. You see this as just being a hiccup or something to be a little bit more concerned about?
I think it's just a hiccup. I mean, it's not like football where you have 15, 16 weeks and you have to panic when you're 0-2. You know, you have a lot of time. I felt like the Blue Jays played their best baseball in the second half of the season, obviously. Let's see how they adjust without Bo Bichette in that lineup. You know that Vlad Jr. is going to be there, but they have a ton of injuries within that rotation, so we don't really know how good they are. Trey Savage was absolutely outstanding, that talented rookie. He is down. Barrios is down. Key guys. Now, they got a shiny new toy in Dylan Ceases, who's going to factor in this series, and I think he's going to be just fine as far as being in a Blue Jay uniform. But if you don't have the depth in that rotation, for me, it starts and ends on the mound. They're going to struggle. Now, it's a little concerning that they got swept against my White Sox in the South Side, but, you know, baseball's like that. Baseball's like that, and it's going to be a long season. I think they're going to be just fine, but they have to continue to try to find ways to score runs because the AL East, when you look with the Yankees and ball-to-ball clubs, they can score runs at a premium.
Dontrelle Willis Cologne here. You're talking about the Yankees 7-2. The pitching has been outstanding. Is the Yankees pitching the key to them winning a World Series this year?
1,000%. I always say it starts and ends on the mound. If you have swing and miss, which they do, Max Fried has been absolutely phenomenal in a Yankee uniform. He's been unhittable. He will be in the Cy Young race. Cam Schlittler, man, that young man is going to have a breakout season. Once they get Garrett Cole and Rodon back into the fold, this could easily be one of the best rotations in all of baseball, especially in the department with swing and miss. Now you pair that, it looks like Aaron Judge, you know, starting to get better at the plate. Giancarlo looks like he can open some potato chips right now, so they're looking just fine in that sense of that. And so I think Aaron Boone's going to take it personal as far as this group saying, hey, we've been overlooked the last couple of years. Teams have called us out. The Dodgers have called us out. The Blue Jays have called us out. It's time to get back to the Yankee ways, and I think they're going to be doing that this year.
If a team has a hot start or a slow start to open the season, we tend to overanalyze it because it's just 1 week. Like if it happened in June, we wouldn't even notice. But ABS, the new rule, I feel like we can judge this thing after 1 week. Over 500 attempts, over a 50% success rate. There is an interesting strategic element of, do you save your challenges? Is it the catcher, the pitcher? Who's going to be calling for it? Are you ready this early into the experiment to already declare ABS a success?
I love it. I love the speed of it. I love the accuracy. I love that the fans are getting into it. I love that every manager that I've talked to says, hey, we're taking all the pitchers out of it because they're not very good about these challenges. We're going to trust some of the hitters and the catchers. But it shows how hard it is and how good these umpires, and some of them, how difficult it is to call balls and strikes when you're looking at a baseball going 100 miles an hour. And so I love that guys, especially talking to some of the managers, when they're going to use the ABS. Who's allowed to use that? Some pitchers think everything they throw is a strike, so I know, Marlins Dontrelle, I would be ABSing all the time. Detroit, no, I wouldn't be involved in that. So, it's fun how they're going to use those things, and so you have to trust the catcher, their receiving ability, and really just their knowledge of the strike zone. So I love it thus far. I think the pace is great, and I think it's going to be great for the game.
With the Red Sox being last in the AL and Roman Anthony saying it was unacceptable, what do you attribute their struggles to?
Well, Trevor Story, a lot of guys in their lineup that are consistent. Trevor Story is one of them. If you look at the Red Sox, Wilson Contreras, who's supposed to be a veteran, all these guys that they need, Durbin, they're hitting under the Mendoza line. And so now that puts a ton of pressure on the pitching staff. If you look at their bullpen, they're ranked 28th against opponent slugs. So they're not getting it done. So not only they're not scoring runs, they're not putting up zeros in the back end of it. Also, Ranger Suarez, that was a big-time signing. He has not hit the ground running like they wanted him to. And so you have to show a little bit of more swing and miss. He has not, but he will be fine, but this can't be just a Roman Anthony show. This young man is very talented, obviously, but they have to continue to build around him and have some consistency, because like I said about the Blue Jays, you have to be able to score in the AL East or you're going to be in trouble.
You have a World Series ring, two-time All-Star. Is there anybody out there that reminds you of yourself that's pitching right now?
Oh, fun question.
Oh, no, hell no. No, nobody, and I'm not saying that from an arrogant standpoint. Nobody is that silly to even try that. Once a day, someone asks me to do the delay click, and they're just like, oh, my God, how do you not pull your hamstring? I come from the John Smoltz teaching of pitching. Very conventional, kind of like my golf game. You know what I mean? I want to stay in the rails. But, I'm very honored that people still remember my pitching style, said how exciting it was. I've gotten a lot of boos, especially in New York, going up against the Mets. But it's all love and respect. I love to use my athleticism. And now that my kids are a little bit older, they're like, Dad, where did you learn how to do that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just Sandlot baseball. But, again, very blessed to go up against some of the best in the world and do it my way for as long as I could.
All right, we want to get you out of here on this. There was an insane stretch of highlights in the game with Joe Adell. Not one, not two, but 3 robberies of home run balls in the same game. I'm thinking if you're on the mound here and that happens behind you, what's the gift? Like, is that a watch? Is that just dinner? What are we doing for Joe Adell if he saves 3 home run balls in one game?
I've been known to be very generous, so maybe, a steak dinner and a watch. Can we combine that? I mean, this is really cool. This is the beauty of sports, to see something like this. Joe Adell, I know personally, has extreme athleticism, so nobody in that locker room is surprised. But to go into the stands and still hold on to that baseball, that is truly remarkable. After robbing 2 home runs previously, I'm glad this is his coming out party. He was excellent last year, struggled in his career defensively, so I'm glad that he worked his tail off to be able to have this moment and have that confidence, because that's his position in right field. But yeah, that's a seafood tower and maybe a nice little Breitling watch, little bezel on it or something like that. But if you do that behind me, man, I'm definitely taking care of your dues for the year.
We love the seafood tower around here, and I think Catch of the Year is wrapped up on that last one. Dontrelle will be watching pregame coming up after us. Thank you very much for the time. Blue Jays and Dodgers follow us here on the OT. Thanks, Dontrelle.
Thanks, guys.
We are 17 days away from the 2026 NFL Draft, so we take you inside the OT War Room, where every day we are talking the biggest storylines ahead of the draft. We got Coach Mangini and his 3 Super Bowl rings. We got Willie Colon and his 1, and between us, we have 4 Super Bowl rings. I've won a few championships in franchise mode in Madden, so we're going to begin, guys, by talking quarterbacks. Yep. Feels like the way to do it. Projected number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza. Everyone knows he's going number 1. He's the national champion. He's the Heisman winner. He's the heavy favorite to go 1. Raiders, of course, with that pick coming off a 3-14 season. If you look at quarterbacks who are coming off of a Heisman Trophy season and a national championship, split bag. You'd be thrilled to get Burrow. You'd be thrilled to get Cam. But then there is Jameis Winston, and now we'll see Fernando Mendoza in this spot. So, Willie, we will start with you. Do you view Mendoza, we know he's going 1, do you view him as a franchise changer at quarterback?
I do. I do. But I think my biggest concern is you want to allow him to cook a little bit. I think right now it's easy to fall in love with his completion rate. I know it was at 72%. He threw for 41 touchdowns. He had six interceptions. But I think right now he's still an unfinished product. I don't think he's somebody you draft right away and be like, boom, we're off and running. I think the team still needs to be built up. I still think from a personality standpoint, I would love to see him grow up, right? Because when you step into a huddle with a bunch of grown men, they want to see you talk like a grown man. And sometimes, he seems like he's a little malnourished, if you will. But I do think right now, I think if you're Mendoza, you step in, you allow him to step in, you allow Kirk Cousins to be the mentor you brought him in to be, and see what happens. But I would trust Clint Kubiak in this moment, because he just won a Super Bowl. He's coached elite quarterbacks, and he knows what an elite quarterback looks like. And you got to allow him to have this time to mature. Hopefully they give it to him and don't feel like because he's the number 1 pick, you got to usher him out there right away.
Yeah, I do think he'll be franchise changing, but this is a franchise that's been bad for a long time. So how much will he change the franchise? I think they'll get better, and hopefully significantly better over time. I just don't see this necessarily being a Patrick Mahomes type franchise changing player. And look, you can make an argument that Patrick's the greatest of all time, so maybe it's not a fair comparison. I do think he'll be able to lead him to a lot of success. I'm just not sure how high that bar is going to be able to go.
It's a question of ceiling?
To me, it's a question of ceiling, where Do I see him being in a position and the Raiders being in a position where they're competing for a championship every single year? I don't see that, but I see them being, hopefully, radically different than what their history has been for, quite some time.
Offensive head coach, got Tom Brady's mentorship there. You like a few pieces on the offensive line. You like Genty, you like Bowers, you like that you could be mentored behind Cousins. Feels to me like he is pretty close to ready to play. I mean, you beat Miami, you beat Alabama, you beat Oregon twice, You go undefeated, you win a national championship. I'd be surprised if we didn't see Mendoza get a lot of playing time early in Vegas.
See, I don't.
I know you don't like that.
Yeah, just relax. Listen, my thing with it all is there's still more holes to fill with this team. And when you watch them in Indiana, he had a really good offensive line. He had some really good pieces on the outside. He had a really good run. There was a lot around him for him to be successful. And I'm not crazy about the completion rate because I think there was so much there was so much talent where guys can just catch the ball and get it done, and he didn't have to do a whole lot. And I question his athleticism at times as well.
And it's always a big debate. Do you want him to start right away and get that experience? Some people really feel strongly about that. And then the flip side of it is, do you want him to sit, be able to learn, and put him in when he's in a much better position to be successful? So it just depends philosophically where they stand.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't get in at some point this year.
Oh, he definitely will.
Yeah, right. But so, okay, Coach, the last 5 quarterbacks to go number 1 overall, it runs kind of the gamut of skill sets and prototypes and mobility and arm strength and different types of traits. But you don't have to compare Mendoza to just one of these guys who went number 1 overall. Do you have a comp for Fernando Mendoza?
When I was thinking about it, I was just thinking about a quarterback that I coached in Chad Pennington. And Chad, in it was 2000, he was the first quarterback taken in that draft. Now, he was 18th overall, and he also had gone undefeated that year, a different conference. I get all of that, but they're similar in the sense that neither one has tremendous arm strength, but they're both very accurate passers. They're both very efficient. They both make good decisions with the ball. They lead the receivers. Very rarely do you see Mendoza put the receivers in a position where they have to work back for the ball or make the hard catch, and that was similar to what Chad was. And then they both have what looks to be outstanding intangibles, and to me, Chad was another quarterback that could allow you to compete for a championship. He may not necessarily have been competing every season for a championship, but he had that potential.
The idea of a big quarterback who I've heard Carson Palmer, Drew Bledsoe, not mobile, but the guy can process the field and get the ball out quick. It's an interesting profile for a guy in this day and age in the NFL where so much of it is off schedule and second type throws. Do you think he has that type of ability?
To make the off schedule?
Yeah, because that's just what so many teams focus on, and he almost seems a little bit more like a throwback to a more statuesque pocket
you from the pocket.
6'5", 230, and I don't think you have to be that guy. I know that's what's in vogue. But you can do a lot of the same things by stepping up into the pocket or moving in the pocket. And what that does do is it helps the offensive line. The offensive line, when you start running around, they don't know where to go with their blocks. And it puts those guys in a really difficult position. So if you're moving up in the pocket or sliding a little bit to the right and the left where you're not selling those guys out, you can buy time that way. And Tom Brady was an excellent example of that. And Peyton Manning was another excellent example of that. So there's ways of getting to the same thing, which is extra time, without having it to be, the splash running plays or the Caleb Williams type run around, throw it 60 yards.
All right, so we're talking quarterbacks in the war room here. Let's get to another name who we know we might end up hearing on the 23rd. That's Ty Simpson out of Alabama. Speculation, he could be an early second-round pick. If he doesn't go late in the first, of course, teams could trade back in. Not surprisingly, guys, at his pro day, Ty Simpson, a lot of belief in himself on being worthy of being a first overall pick. Take a listen.
Absolutely. Feel like that. I've done everything that I can, but it's not up to me. When I come in a program, I'm a program changer. I don't just make myself better. I make other people better. So if you draft me and you want me to be your franchise quarterback, I'm not just coming in to look after myself. I'm looking after the whole team and making sure that I leave it better than where I left it.
So the data suggests more than one quarterback is going to go in the first round here. Ty Simpson most likely would be that second name called. The 2022 draft, Kenny Pickett, the 20th overall pick, was the last one in the last decade to only have one QB go. Coach, would you be comfortable using a first-round pick on Ty Simpson?
I wouldn't, but I'd think that he has a great chance of going in the first round. You're so starved for quarterbacks in the league, and there's so many teams that need him, and now you've got multiple teams with 2 first-round draft picks. So whether it's the Jets, the Dolphins have 2 first-round draft picks. I know Arizona, there's been a lot of talk that he could potentially go there as well. It's not necessarily where he deserves to go. It's a little bit of a function of how desperately do you need that position, or you feel you need that guy of the future. And if you don't think you can get him in the second round, then it's just the cost of doing business to get a guy that you hope maybe you're not have an absolute conviction, but enough of a conviction to take that chance.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful because he's the type of pick, if you jump up and get him, he can get a general manager fired, right? Well, he only has 15 starts in his career, very efficient. However, man, if you draft a guy in the first round, you just want to see more ball on tape, and I don't think he has enough of it. Nevertheless, man, I think if you're the Steelers, because I think a lot of people view him as a number 2, right? So if you're the Steelers or Jets and you feel like you have your guy and you just need somebody who can win you 2 or 3 games and you can develop, put him in the incubator, then he's your guy. But nevertheless, he's a round 2 guy to me.
So yeah, his profile for that 1 year was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was just 1 year. It was 15 starts. But if you look at what he accomplished over that year, the list of guys, 3,500 yards, 25 or more touchdowns, 5 or fewer picks. And those are all, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, all had success quick in the NFL. He doesn't have a ton of experience, like you said, with the 15 starts. But when I was watching him, and yes, I am biased to the modern quarterback who can do the off-schedule type things, because you're like, oh, he's a little undersized, he's not an amazing athlete. There were a lot of things on the tape where he would get flushed from the pocket, and then he'd be running to throw and not running to run.
And there's a difference now.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's just like, if you just look at it, it's like, that's not a scramble to pick up 5 yards. It's reestablishing his feet and throwing the ball down the field, because you don't need to be Caleb Williams. You don't need to be Jaden Daniels. But as long as you can buy a little bit of extra time and still find a way to throw the ball down the field, I'd have no problem with your Steelers taking him and sitting him behind Aaron Rodgers.
But he's running because he can't read necessarily what's happening because of his size, which I think is a little bit of an issue. And when you look at the 10 points combined against Georgia and Indiana late in the season, and the fall off that he had late in the season,
he was battling injuries late.
And even the touchdowns that he had, it's not like they were a lot of great plays down the field,
I liked when he quieted the crowd against Georgia. When he had that rushing touchdown. A little bit of moxie for Ty Simpson. I see him, some team's going to do the Jackson Dart move, trade back into the first round and take him. We'll talk national championship with UConn and Michigan tonight, and we're back in the War Room tomorrow talking Jeremiah Love. Tonight, it's time for the title game. UConn, Michigan, the Wolverines, top-ranked offense in the country. UConn, the 6th-ranked defense. Michigan trying to cement itself as an all-time team in college basketball. UConn trying to win 3 titles in 4 years and do the dynasty thing that hasn't been done since John Wooden and UCLA in the 70s. I picked Michigan before the tournament. Will you see any chance that UConn pulls off this upset?
Comes down to Terrence Reed. He's a transfer out of Michigan. He's going to be battling the 7'5" kid, Andy Marr. He has to have a big game. Can't get himself in foul trouble, but he has to be dominant. He's been great at all tournament, but he has to shine tonight for the UConn to have a shot.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see. This is UConn, who's kind of put together a team with a little bit of help from the NIL and the transfer portal, but a lot of guys have been there. So there's that approach, and there's the Michigan approach, where it's kind of a 2-year total overhaul, and this kind of dictates the future of basketball to some degree.
It's so weird. I've seen UConn in person 3 times this year, and I'm like, yeah, they're not that good. And here they are in the title game.
Really good together.
Yeah, really good together. And it's single elimination college basketball.
Right.
So, Braylon Mullins, Indiana kid, gets hot from 3, put a little doubt in him early. Maybe Lindeborg's hurt, or maybe Michigan gets in foul trouble. But Michigan's much better.
Yeah, but the thing about
they're much better.
UConn has to control the pace because Michigan can come in waves. Like, there's so much depth, so much talent. They got to be able to slow it down and play their brand of basketball for them to have a shot.
Yeah, UConn does like to slow it down. Should be a fun game tonight. We'll be back talking about it tomorrow on the OT.